Hey there, how you doing? Charlie Winters here with horse racing tips for Sunday, the 6th of July. Well, it was an extremely disappointing day yesterday. 25 pound on. Um, some of the horses just didn't run up to scratch. Some of them I just got wrong. One disappointing thing that I find was High Royale. Um, I thought Jim Crowley actually gave that a bad ride. Um, Everything was happening that I wanted to happen up until he went um, to the inside rail, and then the horse never really got going because it didn't really have enough room. It wasn't blocked in; it just couldn't really lengthen its stride. And in the end, I think it came sixth, paying first five. Um, if it had done what I said, or if it had just made a slight little decision where don't go for the inside, because there was even talking about don't go in for the inside on the race preview, just while they're going down. They were saying it looks like they're keeping away from that inside rail. Well, they did, but Jim Crowley unfortunately elected to take it, and it came sixth, first five. Don't get me wrong, it wouldn't have been a winning day. It wouldn't even have been a break even day. It was disappointing all round. But yeah, that's the only one I was really disappointed. I was disappointed in the selection that came nowhere. But this is the one where I thought it didn't get the best. It didn't get a smart ride. So, selections for Sunday, the 6th of July. So, what I'm going to do is, you've no need to watch this entire video. I'm going to put all the selections in the comments and the first comment and the description below. Because what I'm going to do is, I'm actually just going to film the screen as I look at the horses. Basically, I won't talk you through it all the time. It's not easy to actually give somebody a running commentary of how you select selections while also trying to concentrate on picking selections. But if anybody wants to just like look over what I do, stick around. I don't know how long the video will take, but I'm not. I'm only going to pick a few. I might have a lucky 63 max. So I'm on the first race at Market Rasen. So I've been and had a look at the. I'm not going to change and show you the UK rainfall radar because I can just tell it you. Basically, there's been a lot of rain. I'm recording this at 20 to 10 Sunday morning. About 9 o'clock, there was a lot of rain at Market Rasen. It says good ground currently. I think it'll be slower than that. I think possibly it could be touching soft. So that's basically what I'm going to look for. So there is the odd shower from now until racing, but nothing massive. There's a few funny colours knocking around on the radar, but they don't always materialise. But and they're for short periods. So at the most, they might get brief um, showers. So let me get into it. So I'm not quite exactly sure what you'll see when I'm clicking on things because sometimes it'll show you, sometimes it won't. Ah, that's it. I remember. It's this selection into it, Malangen. So I want to see if it likes soft ground because if it does, oh, the problem is it only ran 3 days ago. That'd be okay for a flat horse, but I tend to be a bit reserved when it comes to um, national hunt horses running 3 days ago. So I don't know if you can see this. I think you can. Right. So what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to have to log in. So I need to see if this horse handles soft ground. So I do believe I'm currently waiting for the capture to come up. Because if I click login now, more than likely it'll then. I'm dying to click it. I'm going to take the risk. Do I take the risk? Right, I'm going to click. And there you go. Doesn't load the capture until I click. Come on. I just need to see if this horse has ran on soft ground in the past. It's Malangen because it seems very one paced, but I think one paced, as long as you're near the front at Market Rasen, should be okay. This must be the slowest login when it's recording the screen. What should happen now is the login should come up red. Come on, you can do it. Go on. I don't know if anybody can hear that. It doesn't normally happen because I live on a quiet street. I don't know if you can hear the music in the background. Somebody's having like a rave. Right, I'm going to have to click backwards. Let's hope I'm logged in because it didn't work properly. It didn't. Anyway, let's skip that. So I'll have to keep it brief on the old form. Let's try once more. Yeah, come on then. There you go. You park kid. Right, we're in. So Malangen. So we'll pull it all this and then probably end up being a non-runner. So it's predicted to be about 6-1. 5-1 there. Best odds guaranteed anyway. I didn't even realise you could do that till the other day. Anyway, let's click on this Malangen. Right, at this point, I don't know if you can see this that's popped up. I think you can, but I've clicked on the form for Malangen. My computer's not slow, but when it's recording the screen, it always goes slow. So it's a 10-year-old. It's had 73 runs over hurdles. It knows how to win. It's won 9 times. So it's off a rating now of 84. PJ Kavanagh normally rides. Who's on it today? Alan Doyle. It's interesting. Has he rode it before? Tom Scudamore rode it. Right, I don't see that Alan Doyle's ever rode it. So let's go back up to the top. Let's have a scroll down for the soft ground. Well, it's ran up to its mark of 84. So if it had done that performance, then it would have ran a bit closer. But it was off 93 that day. It's 2 mile 4 and it's at Market Rasen. So it's ran at Market Rasen. Quirky at start, ran in snatches, took it out, jumped awkwardly at times, but that's over chasers. Yeah, so that ran slightly below itself. Market Rasen, 2 mile, 2.5 furlong. It was favoured that day for a better race. That was 7 years ago, crikey. So it's run twice, placed both times, but yeah, it's nothing to really. You wouldn't say it's a course specialist. Um, the problem is, I'm going to go back to the date. I'm a bit wary of this horse because if it goes to the front where it does favour front running horses, look, disputed leader led, soon clear, went further clear. So if you go further clear at 4 out at market, or not 4 out at market, if you go further clear at Market Rasen, it is hard to peg them back, especially on poor ground. So there, it ran on soft ground at Carlisle over 2 mile, went clear 40 lengths ahead, reduced lead. The interesting thing is, it was 40 lengths ahead and still only beaten 30. When they go that far clear, normally they end up being tailed off, but I'm just convinced that this horse is very one paced But if it's allowed to go clear, I just think it will be difficult to pass. So here we go. This isn't race. Well, this is so heavy ground. Yeah, we fought last beat. All right, beaten 20 lengths. Better race than this 2 mile heavy ground. I honestly believe that it handles. Look, you got there. It goes clear. Then all of a sudden, I don't think you can see this, but in this particular race at Hexham, the race before it went clear. The race after it was held up. So you're not quite sure what tactics they're going to do. It's like this race here didn't jump from fluency, held up. Carlisle in touch. It's because it's really difficult what they're going to do with it. But I'm going to actually take a risk with it because I'm purely backing it for the fact that I'll have a quick look at another couple of horses because I also think Alan Doyle is the best jockey in the race. Hopefully he can outsmart them. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go for it anyway. It it could well be a non-runner, so it's not the end of the world. So I do believe it's best odds guaranteed. I've clicked on it. Yeah, best odds guaranteed now. So I've put the 5-1. The price isn't terrible. I think it's got a chance. So I don't want this horse. I was going to say either, but it's not either. We want this horse to race prominently. Ideally, go into the lead, go clear, and the other jockeys think, oh yeah, it's just going to run its normal race. It's going to go clear. It's going to come back to us. But I really think if they do that, it could be very difficult to pass. I think I bet Alan Doyle in the past, and it was a decent jockey at the time. No, what I mean to say is he actually gave the horse quite a decent ride. I don't come what horse I backed him on, but he just thought, oh, that's yeah, decent jockey. He's not claiming, so it tells you that he's got plenty of experience, and I just think maybe he could outwit some of these. There are much better horses and much younger horses in the race. You see Clear Storm, the one above. It's only a 4-year-old, so there's likely plenty of improvement. First time tongue strap and cheap pieces combination. Does this new trip suit? Well, the ground's probably going to suit, being by Dark Angel or related. Storm the Stars, 10.1 furlongs. I'll be honest, I don't know if this one will actually stay. Look, it was over a mile on the float, ultra a mile and two. Yeah, that's you can't really read too much into that. Yeah, I'm not convinced it'll stay. Don't get me wrong, being by Neil Mulholland, it might well win with its head in its chest, but and I do believe it's probably got the better form, but took keen hold. To be fair, it ran a decent race to say it took keen hold on every ground. Prominent press outpaced. Being outpaced suggests it might want further. Keen hold. Yes, this horse could want further. It might stay, but I'm not really over the moon about it. So I'm quite happy with Malangen. So let's get on to the next race. Bearing in mind, this has taken me a long time because I haven't even looked at the race cards. As I said again, I'm taking it as though it is slower than good. So 2:35 at Market Rasen, 2 mile, 4.5 furlong, maiden hurdle. Right, it looks basically like a 3 horse race. I couldn't back a Mickey Hammond horse that hasn't run before. This may be a bit of a danger, this Major Kingston, but they'll probably just be giving it a scoring session. So I'm just thinking, can we get the favourite beat? Jamie Snowden. Well, you'd expect it's a strong combination. Snowden and Gavin Sheehan went close over 2 mile. Likely, yeah, it is likely to be suited because it's 13 furlong and 12.5. There's plenty of stamina there. Yeah, so it ran to a mark of 92 on its Racing Post rating of 92 on its debut over hurdles. Newton Abbott is sharp track left-handed. This one's right-handed. Can't see that making much difference. Did okay on the national flat, but nothing special. Won over in Ireland. No, sorry, point to point. I thought it was Ireland then. I don't know where BLC is. He showed some ability, beating 8 horses or 7 horses. So yeah, you probably say there's something about this horse, but it's only achieved a rating of 92. So let's have a quick look at the other ones. So straight away, you have to be cautious because, in a positive way, because Mickey Bowen Formerly, I can't remember his name. That Peter Bowen, was it? Very good at market raising. A track not a million miles away from me. In fact, all of them in the UK are not a million miles away. Right, this horse has straight away got much better form. And I tell you what, I can't believe it's not favourite. So it stays a trip. It's run over course and distance, beaten half a length to a 107. Then it did a 110. So it's a 5-year-old gelding. Let's come on. Yeah, I don't think it's carrying. I don't know if it's won before. Yeah, so it's not. Well, I was thinking it was carrying a penalty, but it's not. It's obviously it's not receiving the allowance because it's a man. So Mohawk Chief has got better form than Jack and Jones. Jack and Jones has got more potential. Didn't jump well on its debut, but ran okay to 92. This horse has run 110 recently. James Bowen, I rank the jockeys equal, James Bowen and Gavin Sheehan. So let me just see what kind of chance built by Ross's has got. So it was running in Ireland up to 3 mile over hurdles. Form looks okay, looks competitive. It definitely looks as though it's in the first three, as in, if you know what I mean. It's got form to what do you call it? I forgot the words. You can understand to justify why it's third in the betting. Then it went point to pointing. Not quite sure why. It was trained by Joe Wright at the time. So it was also owned by Joe Wright at the time. If you look there, look below that, it's now owned by Just One More Racing. So Dr. Richard Newland, Southall. Southall's a really easy course. You're best to race prominently there, but so prominent, not fluent ninth, weak and not fluent to art. I can honestly see the same happening again. Possibly weakening quite quickly. Um, I can't exactly explain why, but it just looks like a poor. It could be tough going. This horse will want at least this trip in time. 12 furlongs by Walk in the Park and Galileo 11.3 furlongs. So it definitely wants a trip. This is 2 mile 4.5. If this one's held up at the back, I think it lessens its chance. So I think more Mohawk Chief. I hope William Hill have got the market wrong. So I'm actually going to back that horse, and I'm taking the 2-1. It might change between now and then because obviously I've not placed a bet yet, but it should be favourite in my opinion. Wants to look at my selections, I think Mohawk Chief has got a decent chance of winning. If I'm being honest, you've only got to look at the strike rate of the Bowens at Market Rasen, especially during the summer plate and all that kind of stuff. And then they have regularly have winners, even in those colours, the maroon with the yellow sleeves, the armbands, white armbands. So let's get into the third race. I might just do the first three races at each meeting if, yeah. So 9 runners, good ground, which will probably be slower, 2 mile, and it's a handicap hurdle. Right. Is he? So first of all, I look to see is there any reason why I should eliminate any of them? Well, I'm not exactly leaning towards leading line or not today, Bobo. Not today, Bobo, because of the long absence. Leading line, first time headgear and tongue strap doesn't exactly jump out at me. And Mr. Joseph Stevenson, whoever that is, on board. So yeah, you could probably eliminate two, but you could probably eliminate them via the market anyway. So game B. So I tend to click on the favourite to see what the standard is. So what I do find interesting is it's been pumped right up to 98. So it only achieved a racing post rating of 99. So straight away, although it's a dual course and distance winner, it's handicapped right up to what it's done so far. So if the improvement stops, it's going to struggle. Um, and don't get me wrong, as I said, I'm taking the ground on not on trust because I'm not trusting the ground. I'm not saying that I'm saying it's not good. I'm saying it's soft. So if I'm wrong, my thought process is probably wrong. So it hasn't run on soft ground so far. So I'm quite happy to take that on. It might win with its head in its chest, but it's been pushed right up to 98. Hasn't produced a racing post rating above 99 recently. So it's basically handicapped up. It's got to improve again to win. So I'm quite happy to take it on and look at. Right, these are always a dangerous combo. So 310. So walk in the park definitely wants a distance. So yeah, it's 2 mile. So this would concern me to a little bit. Look, even there it says drop back in trip is not ideal. So what I would say is the trip back would not be trip back in distance would not be ideal unless it's a front runner in rear, in touch, never better than mid. Yeah, honestly speaking, I think this horse is going to run its race. It won over It won over 2 mile, 4.5 furlong at Market Rasen on good ground. It's also not another one that stands out to really want soft ground. Don't get me wrong, it ran well there, but that's Musselburgh. Can be, yeah, pretty easy. I'm thinking that this horse probably wants good ground, but can just about get away with slower ground. So I'm willing to not ignore it, but keep going. I'm interested in that one there. That stands out a bit. Jamie Snowden and Gavin Sheehan reach for the moon, but I'll just keep going down. No, from 9 over hurdles. That's encouraging, but ran well in defeat. Continues to slip down the weight, so it's now off 97. Decent flat rate in a 70. Not quite sure how long ago that was. Well, actually, not too long ago. So it's a talented flat performer. It recently ran up to, I say recently, it was basically nearly a year ago. It ran up to its mark and ran slightly below its mark on good ground. The interesting thing there is only 9-1. Good to soft ground. Outpaced, dropped to last, lost. Did it absolutely hate the good to soft? Because there, it's ran on good firm. So have a quick scroll down. It handled good to soft there, to be fair, but it was fancied anyway. Tell you what, I'm interested to see that this may be another horse that isn't exactly over keen. Look, over keen, yeah. I want to ignore the French because a great deal of time they don't have any choice apart from running on slower ground. There you go, quick ground for for Mickey Hammond. I'm gonna actually try and ignore this one, but I am hoping that the ground is not good and it's slower. So, if I'm being honest, just taking a look at them, these next two horses look the most interesting. Fair flat race performer was taken fairly well to hurdle makes handicap hurdle. I don't like that, but I do believe Bellardo and Arcano both like soft ground. That's only off the top of my head. Interesting to see that the owners are Cheltenham as the target. So is Cheltenham the target? Right. Generally, an all-weather performer, but it won well there. 69.77. Took keen hold. Took keen hold. So achieved 90. It's improving with its hurdling, but for me, in rear, Jump slightly right through, right through. Right, I'll tell you what I'm heading towards. I'm heading towards Reach the Moon. I just hope hope it's first time tongue strap. Hopefully that's a bonus. Dual novice winner last week. Walgett in a small field, course and distance handicap last month. Right, can we overlook that? So see the stars, Golden Stream, Sadders Walls. This horse is fine at this distance. This was part owned by His Majesty. I don't know what they're called. I don't even follow them. HM the Queen and Lady Keswick. Or Lady Keswick. Sir Chips Keswick. Right. Let's have a quick look at. This is a bit of a niche market. I'm going to look to see. So, 7th of June. I don't get why. Yeah, it was a warmer race. This is a bit puzzling, this one. 105. You'd think it wants a distance. The problem is, crikey, look at that. This has also completely lost its way. So 3 years ago, it had a rating of 113. How old is it? It's only 6 years old. This is one of the most interesting ones, but it's probably turning into a donkey. So last summer, Worcester, what's that? Carried out second. They'd have to first shake up to final unchallenged. Midfield 4. So it was off. It ran off 114, but achieved 110. I'm happy with the 110 because now it's dropped down right down to 105. I wonder if it was out of the handicap that day. That's why there's such a big drop. No, it weren't. They dropped it £8 for one run. I really don't get why it ran so poorly. Don't get wrong, these are decent horses that have beat it. The Castel Gandolfo has run several good races. All I'm thinking is this is a terrible race. You watch, I might be napping. Not today, Bobo. So let's just see if I honestly can't go for that after 648 days. Let's try leading line. It's off of 93 now. So if you go back to last year's form, it's got a chance, but the problem is, well, yeah, you got Perth. Made a respiratory noise. So it's had a wind operation since, look there. Huntingdon, in touch leader, dropped in here. Took Enold, stumbled. Realistically, you couldn't bite that. We are hitting rock. Well, we're actually hit rock bottom now. But have we pulled a gem out the bag? Regressive 6-year-old who ended last season in poor form for poor Nichols. Stable. I tell you what, stable debut. Because look at that. If this is crazy. I tell you what, this is the selection. So last year, beginning of last year. So look at the form here. Look, cracking form. Clearly, it's got wind issues. It had a wind operation on the 19th of July 2023. Ran some very nice racing post ratings. Yeah, looks progressive. Ran poorly on soft ground at air, but it had run well. Vet nothing to report. So they had wind surgery again. This time didn't have the same impact, but the problem is this time around after wind surgery, it's achieved such a high mark from the previous wind surgery that it's stuck in a bit of a trap where it needs a mark that it can be competitive off. So this is 2 mile 4 this race. So let's kind of just flick through. So did see it's got cheap pieces, Jackpot D'athou. So they're still not reaching. So it didn't do anything cheap pieces there, but clearly the yard must think it needs cheap pieces. Not quite sure why. You'd have thought they'd have put a tongue strap on it, if anything. So it went chasing it. You can ignore the chasing bit. For me, this 2 mile 4 furlong is perfect for it. It's just there's so many question marks in this. Prominent, lost, mistake, outpace, no chance, and then you could just say it didn't stay this race. But it's also been competing in better races than this. I tell you what, unless they're just giving it a day out, you can give this horse a chance. It's going to look like the soft ground. It's now dropped to 103. So apart from if they could spark a bit of life in, why are they putting the cheek pieces on? Because if they're giving it a day out, you think they'd use no headgear, nothing, and see how it got on. But clearly, in my opinion, although with cheek pieces, it's not beaten a single horse home so far. That run with cheek pieces and that run with cheek. So this, I'm going to back this one, but this is going to be. Oh, this is going to be a selection. It's probably going to be the biggest price. I tell you what, Mohawk Chief's just gone to 9-4. That is absolutely bonkers. So look, spotlight. Look, I've got to back it. Right, let's have a drive up to Air. Let's see what's going off up there. So what I tend to do at Air is when they're on the straight course and the stalls are in the centre, you want a horse that's going to race down the centre or gradually edge towards far side. I'd preferably have lower numbers, but in the smaller fields, it won't make that big a difference. So let's just see what's happening. If there's anybody actually here at this point, um, put something in the comments. Tell me about one of the races if you don't agree with it. So 145 at Air, 5 furlong, stalls are in the centre. It might be a bit slower than good stuff. Air didn't have as much rain as I thought it might have done. When I was looking at where they raced down on the course, it was actually Parisiac that actually won the race that I looked at. So one horse I would try and eliminate. It doesn't mean it won't win. First time run after a wind operation, first time tongue strap and cheek pieces. It just for me, there's just too many question marks. Doesn't mean it can't win. It could win with its head in its chest because they may have tried this at home and it works and thinking, right, come on, we can get ahead first time, get a win out of it straight from the wind operation. So 5 furlong, class 5. So if I'm going through the jockeys, Megan Davis, I've heard of a Megan, but I don't think it's Megan Davis, and I'm not talking about Megan Nichols, but so Hannah Crawford, I think I've heard of her, but Parisiac ran 1 day ago, so I'll just check where that ran. Thomas Easterby never seems to ride a winner when I back him. Amy Milburn, never heard of it. Serena Brotherton, I think everybody's heard of her. Tilly Evans is an interesting one. I'm gonna have a look at her first. What's it drawn? 4. We can handle that. Or whether winner 5 fell in January. Unconvincing for this yard of late, and this is competitive. So what I would say is it's probably run similar amount of times over flat on turf and all weather, but it seems to have a slight preference for. So I'm looking at very like small margins. So Doncaster took Keenhold, Prominent, Disputant weakened. So April, May. So it was coming off a bit of an absence, 6 to 7 days. So I can give it that. Doesn't seem to find a great deal. That's a concern. However, it is slipping to a decent handicap mark. Um, so you've got Michael Grassick there. It was running it over six furlongs to a mile, but it seems like sprinting is definitely its thing. Ayre's a flat course. It's an easy course, really, but it is like they do go quick round it. Newcastle. Cheap pieces. The horse is no 20 to 1 shot. It's got a better chance than that because what I'm going to do is now I'm going to eliminate our best friends. I'm not even going to look at the form. And I'm going to get rid of that one. 712 days for Colin Teague. So, woohoo. You'd expect this to probably win or at least go in the places. Improving for this yard, ahead of a mark, ground, query if it's slower than good, that's interesting straight away. Definitely. So I think it's worth taking on. Yeah, it's in form of its life, course and distance winner, keen hold, but will it like the ground? So I think it's worth taking on. So Parisiac, will it run? That's a question mark. I don't really want to back a non-runner. The thing I'm finding interesting is, and I should tell you very shortly, once I've just looked at this form, this horse. So has he got any form at Ayr? So this horse, right? This horse could be aimed at this race again. It's what's it off 69 that day. Pretty much same mark today. So will today be the aim, or will it just be a day out? Because if they're going to give it a chance in this, because this race is worth, I think it's worth £4 grand. But if you look here, look, like as you can see, look, I've just noticed 19th of September, 20. So it can run. It can run the next day, and it can run better. So it was absolutely fine. It was a decent race this one. I remember Diligent Mesdef because I went off it in the end because I backed it. I think it was at York. So what was this? The Bronze Cup. So it could actually they could actually be wanting to win this race today because they might be wanting to run in something like the Silver Cup. So I think this has got a chance. It led over 6 furlongs, over a stiff 6 furlongs, which I don't think it wants by the looks of things because Haydock 6 furlongs, nothing. Newcastle 6 furlongs, nothing, nothing, nothing. So I'm guessing that could potentially have been a day out. But what I do find interesting is the fact that Ian Jardine has got another one. I don't know how good Joshua Bryan is. I think I've heard of him. Let's see what this horse can do. Because there are question marks over the stars. So below a best so far. Just looking at it, I can't really have it. I think it could run a race, but it's just not showing me enough. So realistically, I think Parisiac's probably going to be the selection. Just look at the next two. Stash the cash, rain helpful. So it's 70. This is a potentially a better performer or better than this race. Can't see that's run at Ayr before, or not recently. No, not run at Ayr before, but that's an interesting one. So it's a decent horse. So it ran a good run there. Class 4 race, 12 grand. Didn't like the quick ground that day. You can blame it for that. No extra. So who's on this? Thomas Easterby. The problem is, the Easterbys are absolutely flying at the moment. This is a frustrating one because it's literally a coin flip between stash to cash. So, did it go for any big races last year? So it went for one at York in July. By that looks, it'd be towards the end of this month. So 10 days. This horse has definitely got a chance. Wolverhampton, when it won that day, it actually Wolverhampton raced it alone in the middle of the course. So for me, it's a coin. The favourite Woohoo could run its race, but there's question marks over the ground. You're going. I'm basically going. Let me just try Opal Storm. Yeah, the less rain, the better. I can't have this. 58. Only beaten. So if that Woohoo's a decent horse, it's only beaten 2 3/4 lengths by it. Big difference in price, but for me, the ground has got to be quick for this horse. Yeah, I can't have it. So for me, I'd probably even be tempted to have a forecast, but I'm not going to. Stash to cash. In fact, I'm going to, yeah. So I'm just thinking, I'm going to have to go with Ian Jardine. Good look at Anna Croft. I just can't have the Thomas Easterby. Never seen by the winner. 11% strike rate. She rode yesterday, so I'm pleased about that. She rides for Ian Jardine on a regular basis. For me, she's like a stable jockey for them. So you'd have thought she's got to know about the horse, or probably even ridden it at home. Thomas Easterby, well, obviously is an Easterby, so it'd have probably ridden this horse at home at some point. Another jockey with 11% strike rate. No, I just can't have him. So for me, it's Parisiac. Even though Parisiac, by the way, is a monkey. These aren't exactly fantastic each way prices so far, apart from the huge 6 to 1, but we'll see. In the 220, oh, there's 6 runners. I might. I can't have it. It's a 2-year-old race. If I had a really good study, maybe we could eliminate some with the ground. 11 runners, we'll go for that one. 255 at air. So, 1 mile classified stakes. Right, these are interesting, but sometimes they take me ages to work out. Normally, so this is quite interesting for the fact that Ian Jardine has got another fancied runner because he could have a good day. Right. I do remember seeing that Jamari Vision at Redcar one time. I'm sure it wants really bad ground. Desert Dream. Ruth Carr. Let's have a quick look at this one. These big prices with Ruth Carr, you can never eliminate them. Has weak claims on form, needs improvement on these terms. So I think this race is 6 furlongs. When they're keying over 7, I can more than happy to have them at 6. He's towards finish, but only beaten 4 lengths. What I'll be interested to see is, was this one drawn high? In fact, I think they go around the bend. Oh no, not over 7 furlongs. I don't. No, drawn 2. I think that one's won since. Yeah, that's interesting. In fact, that's been in good form since. So that form is franked by that one, Monsieur Fantasi. How far was it beaten by it? 4 lengths. Well, to be fair, I don't think I've seen worse, to be fair. So, yeah, that one made all on the rail. So, yeah, this one isn't as bad as I thought. So, is it 6 furlong or 7? Oh, it's a mile. There we go. Not quite sure if a mile, it wants a mile, but an interesting start anyway. So, let's go to the more, I say the more obvious, but you got Woodrafff there rated 45. Well, the favourite's only rated 48, £3 above. 9-9. So let's see what. Let's have a quick look at this Jumeirah Vision. I want to have a look at a red card one because it ran disappointing at red card when I think I tipped it that day. That day, I think it was. Hmm. So if I'm being honest, this run and this run is enough to win this race. Definitely, absolutely, definitely. So why has it run so poorly in that one? Is Musselburgh too quick for it? Hamilton. Hmm. Because for me, it doesn't particularly want, as far as I'm aware, quick ground because I think it's run good to soft. Right, I'm going to take a chance that this doesn't want the slower ground. Being by Ifrod, you'd expect it to, though. Let's try this one. Sand in your shoes. So it's been running on the all weather apart from its last run. Kieran Schumark, which is interesting, is in air. Is in air? He's gone to air races today. Surely he's not gone for this one. Right, look at these numbers here, right? Why on earth would you put this horse at 7-1 and Woodrafff at 28-1 by Ruth Carr? If I'm being honest, right, you could stick a pin in this because any single one of them, whether it's because they've got first time cheek pieces, first time visor, let's just try on the bubble. First time cheek pieces, even these quick reappearances can make a difference. So it's had headgear on. Right, interesting. No headgear, what didn't do anything. First time hood, won well. 3.5 lengths for crying out loud. That was for Ben Haslam. Always had headgear on, or the hood. Then I'm guessing it got a bit bored. So it was running poorly. In fact, to be fair, wouldn't you? What kind of distance is it running at? So running over a mile? Is this trainer bonkers or what? There's no run, no wonder. So it ran poorly that day. You can understand that. Upped it to a mile and a half. All right, one ran okay-ish. 2 mile. Then it's dropped back down to a mile. That form to be tanned is okay. It went on a bit of a winning streak. So 46-48 in touch, not bad. So then Carlisle mid division. So then is Gemini Man the favourite for this? Yeah, Gemini. All right, don't go wrong. Beaten 12 lengths. So based on jockeys and whatever, and out of the handicap that day, it was receiving £4, but beating 11 lengths. Right, I could probably tell you what might have happened there. Towards rear, in rear. Maybe they went off too quick in this race. Yeah, because Jamari Vision might also have gone off too quick. And our this selection at the moment, what we're looking at on the bubble, maybe it pressed the leader and went off too quick as well. That's why it finished so far behind. Prominent outpace weakened. So I think this also got a bit of a chance, but honestly, I can't ignore the Ruth car. So I'm sure that Desert Dream used to be much better. Seb Spencer's always a dangerous jockey when he goes up north. Uh, Trainer, sorry. Last attempt at classified resulted in a win, but she was in better form at the time, right? You can easily give this one a chance. Easily. So this season, just by looking at it, I would say that this season, you could say that it's just not wanted this ground. Good. Right, seasonal reappearance, you can ignore that. Good to firm, not clear run, yeah, ignore that. Hamilton, ground too quick, ran okay. Well, I say ran okay. Racing post rating, not the best one so far. Miss Rainbow at Catterick, in rear outpaced some headway. Yeah, so I can fully understand that. And I think if anybody wants to back this horse at 9-1, I wouldn't put you off it. I couldn't put anybody off that. Let me just have a quick look at this. Show me the way home. I hope this is extra. So on Sky Bet, if anybody wants to place their bet on there, I'm up to my max on there because it's about 25 quid a week. I've put it to, so I can't put the bet on there because I wasn't going to do a video. I was just going to use the free bet, but I've decided to do a video for Sunday. So you can also give this horse a bit of a chance. It's racing post. So there's so many horses. It's 28-1. I'm gonna have to go with Woodrafff. Let me have just another quick look at it. So it's been showing nothing so far, but I'm tempted by the Ruth car factor. So it was gelded. So clearly, in my opinion, it's probably a bit of a nut job. Run over Newcastle over a mile, not at the races. 7 furlongs, nah, nothing really. How old is it? 4-year-old. Took in touch. Some headway over 2 hours, which is encouraging. Best race so far. Poet. Well, always behind. Only beaten 5 lengths. That's not the end of the world. Dropped back to 6 that day. So then that was Adrian Nichols, by the way. Sorry, I was getting. So now Ruth Carr. In touch with leaders, weak one out, hampered 110, eased. Let's have a quick look at this again. I think they will get a win out of this. I'm just like, is it today? So as we're well aware, Monsieur Fantasi has won again since. We're only beaten 3.5 lengths by that. And that horse is we're running up against horse even weight because it's a handicap. Let's just see what it ran. So that was only 9-1, and we've beaten a length by that. Right, there it was that day. And then it ran at Yarmouth, only beaten a length by gorgeous Mr. George, 58 off 65. My opinion, that race is better than what it looks. The one I've just been looking at. We're only beaten, so midfield outpaced, in touch. We was receiving £7 off that. I don't understand why we're receiving £7. Ah, yeah, and then £7 for jockey now. Rain Cap 30-2 that day was beaten 1.5 lengths by it. So there's that run. So before that, it was coming into the race in OK form. Second twice, fourth, not being far. After that, fourth of 18 at Thirsk. So this horse is also running well. For me, that was a better race than what you might think, the one that Woodrafff ran in. So I'll tell you what, that is the selection. It's a huge price. It's Ruth Carr that I don't trust. Oh, here we go. Ruth Carr. I'll take 33s, and I don't think it's an extra place race. If you can get on with Skybet, then get on with Skybet. Yeah, it's only 3 places, so if I'm guessing, this horse could finish 5th or 6th. We need it to run above itself and sneak into the places. I've chose 5 selections. Let's click on the next selection. Right, I think I'm going to market Rasen for that race because there's only 8 runners in that one. Right. I'm going to leave it at this. This is what we're doing. I don't want to place that much, so yeah, so what I'm going to do is 15 pence each way, lucky 31. Then I'll have £1 each way. Will this work? Yes. £1 each way singles and a 15 pence each way lucky 15. So that is the bet. So let me talk you through the selections very, very quickly. So first race is a 2 o'clock at Market Rasen. It is Malangen at 4-1. If it goes clear, it might struggle. They might struggle to reel it back. I hope they don't hold it up, but it's a horse that it can win. It's just who knows quite when its day's going to be. Mohawk Chief in the 235 at Market Rasen, 9-4. It's the best horse in the race. Will take some beating with jockey and trainer with good strike rates there. Jackpot D'athou, 80-1 now. Crikey, they don't fancy that, do they? 310 at Market Rasen. It's a dreadful race where a lot of them don't want the ground. This one wants the ground, but it's had so many issues with its breathing. It might be a day out, I don't know, but 80-1 in a dreadful race, yeah, I don't mind. Parisiac in the 145 at air. In fact, right, let me lower. Oops, here we go. This is where the video bodges. Right, let me just lower this one because I've forgotten something. Parisiac 3-1 in the 145 at air. This horse is absolutely fine when it runs the next day. Often it can run better the next day. I think they could be heading towards the Silver Cup at Air rather than the Bronze Cup at Air. So they'll need a win. And I think it's an interesting selection. And I think the danger's stash the cash. And the reason why I've withheld some money is because I'm going to have the forecast them too. But you're going to see me do it anyway. The final selection is by this point, you could be rubbing your hands or you could hopefully looking to try and get out of jail with this one winning. It's Woodrafff 33-1 in the 255 at Air. I hope the price has changed again. There's a plunge on the 80-1. No, there isn't. Malangen's gone to 7-2. Anyway, so let me place this bet before he gets. Right, we're on. Right, let me just go to the final rate. The final bit is, I think it's that one. I think it's that one. I'll be having this one and this one. Reverse forecast, 0.88. There we go. Every single penny's been spent. It won't make. It might make 20 quid. So that is the end of the video. So if you give me a like, a subscribe, if you're even here at this point, just put something like, just put something that I know you've been here. Because to be fair, this video currently is now 1 hour, 1 minute. So I wish you the very best of luck. Charlie Winters, over and out. Cheers, mate.